So, Namaskar. A very warm welcome to each one of you to this session of Tuesday gatherings. It's a very special session today because we have with us Nazia Hirani. She is going to speak to us about her journey in this life, and she is very gifted in the sense that since early childhood, she has had the ability to connect with herself, and she has always heard a voice speaking to her. And no matter what logic would suggest or what others would say, she has always followed the guidance that she has received from this inner voice. So she is a very precious part of our Tuesday gatherings, and we will be listening to her. They will have the benefit of listening to her. So as is our tradition, we will just begin with a prayer. It's a prayer to the Guru principle. So just close your eyes. Be with your breath. And allow the breath to take your awareness inside. And from this space within, let us pray for grace. We pray to the Guru principle. Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurureva Para Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurave Namaha. So once again, a very warm welcome to each one of you. And a very special welcome to Nazia. She is going to be talking about her journey. And so we are all ears for you, dear Nazia. And you can carry on. You have to unmute yourself. Oh, Acha, Hema has done the setting that you cannot unmute. Just a minute.
Sir, you make Nazia the co-host, na? Then
Okay, yeah, I will do that. And that I should have done, but just a minute. Yes, Nadia, you are a co-host now.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaur sir. Thank you, Himaji. Thank you, all the members of Tuesday Gatherings, for having me from the beginning. This is a group that has made me really, really comfortable and confident about my spiritual existence. It is this group that I started talking about my spirituality, about my spiritual self, about my experience. This group provided me that safe space to share, and that it's okay. Whatever you are feeling is not something very different. So since childhood, I have been told that I am a different child. So probably now I understand, after these many years of studying and exploration, understanding of life, that why I was different. And I think that's why this is very important time in my life to share my understanding about what was different in me and why it was different.
Nazia, if you permit me, shall I ask your mother to share something?
Yes, I will call her, sir.
Aja, you call her. Okay, when it is time.
Yes. So yeah, so that is what the God sir had very rightly suggested, that I have been told I was different, but to know from others, especially my mother, she could see the world, other children, and how I was different. So we will have her to share. But before I invite her, I would like to request everyone to close our eyes and request our souls and hearts to join together and just say, dear my soul and my heart, join together with the souls of everyone, all the participants online who will watch the recording. Let us join together to get maximum from the next few hours and grow in our soul journey, align further and further with our soul purpose. And just open your eyes. I want to put this intention that whatever we are going to learn or listen to me, it is to align our own souls, our own heart, our own bodies, our own lives with our soul purpose. After all, why are we here? So I would like to request my mother to come and say a few words on what she observed in me, that I was different from other children. So Yasmin is my mother. She's an amazing lady, very inspiring personality. If she was here, okay.
Hello everyone, Namaste. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share about my daughter. नाजिया आज जो भी है, जो भी वो बोल रही है, मुझे जरा भी आई एम नॉट सरप्राइजिंग एट ऑल, क्योंकि वो पहले से ही ऐसी थी. मुझे जरा भी नवाई नहीं लगती है, क्योंकि मुझे पता था कि ये कुछ ऐसा ही करने वाली है. जब भी वो पैदा हुई जिस दिन, उस दिन शी वॉज नॉट क्राइंग, वो रोई नहीं थी, जस्ट सिर्फ एक आवाज की और खेलने लगी. अच्छा, डॉक्टर को भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ी उसको रुलाने की, वो भी कंफर्टेबल था, उसने भी उसको नहीं रुलाया था, एंड शी वॉज वेरी कंफर्टेबल. उसको अंदर है कि बाहर है, उसको शायद कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता था. शी वॉज एज कंफर्टेबल एज आउटसाइड. सो और उसके बाद में आज तक उसको रोना ही नहीं आता है. शी इज नॉट एबल टू क्राई. वो गिरती पड़ती 2-3 बार चिल्लाती, फिर बाद में आगे कंटिन्यू कैसे करना उसको नहीं आता था. कभी उसको रोना ही नहीं आता है, कभी भी रोना नहीं आता है. कभी ऐसी सिचुएशन आ जाती है, आंख में पानी आ जाते हैं, बट शी इज नॉट एबल टू क्राई. दूसरी बात ये कि अच्छा, जब स्कूल में उसको मैंने पहली बार छोड़ा, फर्स्ट दिन मजे से खुशी खुशी गई. उसको कोई जगह पे कुछ प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं होता है, खुशी खुशी गई. और फिर जब मैं उसको लेने गई तो सब बच्चे रो रहे थे, ये भी रो रही थी. आई वॉज सरप्राइज, ये क्यों रोती है? तो मैंने उसको पूछा कि क्यों रोई? आ बता रोवे छे એટલે रोई, ये सब लोग रोते इसलिए मैं भी रोई. उसको ऐसा रोने का पीरियड चालू हुआ. अब रो, मैं बोले नहीं रोने का, तो दूसरे दिन से नहीं रोती थी. उसको रोने का आता ही नहीं है कभी भी. दूसरी बात है कि जैसे जब बच्चे लोग को कैसा अटैचमेंट होता है कि टॉयज से खेले, जितने टॉयज ज्यादा हुए वैसे उसको ज्यादा मजा आती है। ये लड़की कभी टॉयज से नहीं खेली है। वो उसको मैं मेरा काम होता था, मैं उसको बिठाती आके टॉयज का ढगला करके रख देती थी। लेकिन ये अल्लाह की बंदी, वो उसमें से कुछ रेड स्ट्रिंग जैसा कुछ निकाल के उससे खेलते रहती थी। एक आध घंटे तक वो स्ट्रिंग से खेलती थी। टॉयज का ढगला नीचे पड़ा हुआ उसके सामने भी नहीं देखती थी। ना उसको चॉकलेट का लगाव था। कोई बोलेगा चल 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 मैं तेरे को बाहर लेके जाता हूँ, ये चॉकलेट ले, नहीं, चॉकलेट तो क्या, चॉकलेट तो उसको वो पसंद ही नहीं थी। अच्छा एक दिन, अच्छा फुग्गे वो बलून्स उसका भी उसको शौक नहीं। एक बार हम लोग शिवाजी पार्क गए, मैं और मेरा भाई और इसको लेके, तो वो बलून वाला पीछे 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 घूमता है, ले लो ले लो ले लो ले लो। मेरे भाई को बोलता है कि तुम इतनी छोटी बच्ची को लेके नहीं देते हो, तुमको जरा भी फील नहीं होता है कि तुम बच्चे को लेके। मेरा भाई बोलता है भाई तू उसके हाथ में पकड़ा दे तो हम लोग तेरे को पैसे दे देते हैं। लेकिन वो हाथ में पकड़े तो ना, वो तो यूं 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 करके आगे चल गई। उसको चाहता ही नहीं था। ये पहले से ही उसका मतलब ये एकदम वियर्ड है, मतलब अच्छा बोलने में एकदम साफ, कभी भी उसकी जीभ उतलाई नहीं है, कभी ऐसा नहीं कि ऐसा वर्ड्स जैसे जैसे निकलो, पहले से एकदम क्लीन और एकदम क्लियर, उसकी वाणी एकदम क्लियर, एकदम चोखा बोलती थी पहले से। और बस और तो मैं क्या बोलूं, बट शी वाज पहले से एकदम मैच्योर, एकदम इंटेलिजेंट, एकदम मैच्योर लड़की थी। वो इतनी समझदार थी। उसको, हाँ, उसको कुछ भी तुम बोलो तो वो ऐसे जल्दी से मान नहीं लेती थी। स्कूल में भी मैंने उसको डाला तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता था कि ये एक एक टाइम की स्कूल तो शायद उसको कम पड़ेंगी। उसको सुबह में अलग और शाम को, सुबह में इंग्लिश मीडियम, शाम को गुजराती मीडियम में डाल दो तभी जाके उसका इतना वो जल्दी उसका ग्रास्पिंग पावर वो समझ। मैंने कभी उसको लेसन करते नहीं देखा है, लेसन करके पढ़ते हुए कभी भी नहीं। फिर भी शी वॉज रैंकर, शी वॉज ऑलवेज रैंकर। उसने कभी भी इतने सीरियसली पढ़ाई नहीं की। उसका ग्रास्पिंग पावर इतना इतना था कि उसको कुछ करने की भी जरूरत, शायद उसने किया होता तो पता नहीं कहाँ होती, लेकिन वो कभी भी नहीं करती थी। But now, in short, she was not very normal child. बहुत डाई, बहुत समझदार, बहुत अंडरस्टैंडिंग, और शी वॉज वेरी गुड, बहुत डाई लड़की थी बचपन से। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Mom, for sharing. So everybody gets some idea that I was different from childhood. Now I don't know why I was different. I was told कि हाँ तुम मेहनत करो तो तुमको और मार्क्स आएंगे, why don't you study? लेकिन मुझे पता नहीं था क्या स्टडी क्या होता है। मेकअप एग्जाम होता है, मैं लिख के आती थी। I don't know what I was doing. I had my own world. There was something going on inside me which was so interesting that it used to take all my attention from the outer world. You could leave me alone for hours. I can stay alone. I was never afraid of loneliness. I can stay alone. I can stay alone at night. Even right now, people are afraid. I had no fear. I never felt alone, that I was ever alone. But there was something going on inside me that had no words. This is the thing. It had no words. It had no voice. It was just a knowing. I used to do some things just like my mother said, ये कुछ कर देती थी, बहुत mature थी, but I don't know why I did that. अगर कोई, and then there were certain things that I did as I grew up, I will share with you, that were not acceptable everywhere. So people used to question me, why did you do that? I don't know, because I was just acting out naturally from my knowing. Just like a child, naturally, उसको पता होता है कैसे सांस लेना है. When it is born, it knows how to breathe. Nobody has to teach him. Just like that, I knew some things. But now, as I'm observing myself from this point onwards, from the understanding that I have right now, I can say that every one of us has that knowing. Every one of us has that inner knowing, inner being that knows everything. So now as I was growing up, so I want I would request everyone to reflect on their lives as well as I speak. So since childhood, we all are different. We all have been different. I may be different in some distinctive ways, but we all have been different. And as I grew up, I knew some things naturally. And then I went to school. When I went to school, as my mother said, I never had to study. Somehow I remembered everything in the exam. Somehow I would, but when the teacher would ask the question in the class, it was not I who would raise the hand first. पता नहीं कब वो बोल देता था, it's okay. You know, somebody would ask me, it's okay. Somebody will call me, it's okay. Doesn't call me, it's okay. But I don't know what I remembered in exam. I used to write very naturally, as if I just knew. But you know, as we grow up, we have this peer pressure. No, you have to work hard, just like my mother said. कि अगर वो थोड़ा और hard work कर लेती तो कहाँ पहुँच जाती, right? They were telling me to use my mind, and I was like so stubborn, still to as large extent as possible. Okay, I must only listen to myself. I would only listen to myself. I knew what was right. I just knew that things around me were not right, wrong, but I had no proof or nothing to talk about, right? Why am I saying this, that you are wrong? I don't know. I don't know. I never studied. I don't have words even to say that this is wrong. But from inside, I knew something is right and something is wrong. So when I started after 10th, in 10th I got very good grades, 11th and 12th. Oh my God, you have to study. You have to study. Now you are in science. I started focusing on my mind. And that's when I faced so many challenges. I was so much frustrated as I grew up. Because anyway, in the teenage years, things start challenging emotionally and stuff. But those things again didn't bother me so much as this, okay, padhai karo, padhai karo, padhai karo. When I was really in stress, the grades were like okay, kind of aane lage. And but still my inner knowing at that time was also very strong. But jo pressure mere pe tha ki you have to work hard, I remember in 11th standard, I thought this brain is really very powerful. I was sitting in a Hindi class, and I had a thought in my mind, this brain is really very, very powerful. I have to take maximum potential, iska use karna chahiye. My brain has to think all the time. Something has to go on in my brain. And from now on, I will use my brain. Even Einstein used only 1 to 2%. I have such a powerful tool with me. I think I have to use it. And I started thinking a lot. I started using my brain a lot. I have to do something. And from that time onwards, I needed to do something. I can't do with one thing. I need more than one thing to do. I use my brain a lot. Okay, I got my grades after 12th. So ye jo 2 saal gaye, like okay, use your brain. After 12th, we were supposed to choose the colleges, and I wanted to become engineer. So engineering, I had choices, like whether I go with a reputed institution with a particular stream, or go with a less reputed institution with a stream that I wanted. Probably I wanted, and I felt I wanted to do something like that. How did I decide? That is very interesting. So by the time I was in 12th, my decision-making capacity was my heart telling me. That inner knowing, I don't know where it went. I just was asking my heart, do you like it or not? So I had 2 options. Either I would choose chemistry, chemical engineering, or I would go for electronics engineering. So I opened chemistry textbook and I asked myself, if I have to study this for next 4 years and for the entire life after that, how would I like it? Would I like it? And then I opened my physics textbook. Acha, mujhe ye padhai karni hai next 4 years and then for the entire life. Would I choose it? Yes came in the physics. So I went with the physics option. Now with that option, the issue was that I was getting admission in a private college, on a private seat, like a normal seat, not a government college. So the fees was high. And my 12th grade was so challenging that it was the time when this Godhra riots had happened and my family's source of income was lost. So basically my family was to choose between whether to further educate me or pause my education, right? And what to do? We didn't have the financial capacity, right, to go for a payment seat, or both of them is very expensive and we didn't have the money. So we applied for a scholarship in my community. So since my percentage was quite not very high, like, very good one. So they called us for interview. They called everyone for interview. And they interviewed the child and the parent separately. So they interviewed me first, 7 to 8 people came in. They called me in a room. Why do you want to go choose this stream? What is your future goal? No, this was my decision. I took it from my heart. I like this subject. I want to grow in this subject. So I chose it. And I told them it with very confidence because it was my choice. And then my mother was called in afterwards. She represented my parents. And my mother was, as she walked in the room, she told everyone, oh my God, a 12th grade ko bacha aapke paas aata hai and you are with so many people, the child would be really scared, don't you think? You are interviewing like this. And they told my mother, your daughter was not scared at all. And I don't remember what I spoke. I totally don't remember what I did. I was somewhere else. So my engineering, I got this, and then they told us it's very difficult to get a scholarship on a payment seat. You have to take the risk, but we will try our best. But I got the scholarship. I got 50% loan and 50% was the scholarship. And then somehow we managed to go in the engineering. That was again very interesting journey. In the final year, we had to choose subjects finally in the final year. Again, the subjects that I liked had professors that I didn't like. I didn't like to study with them. And the subjects that I didn't like had amazing teachers. I don't know why God made it like that. But it was like this. But I chose the subjects that I wanted. I wanted that subjects. None of my friends chose that subject. There were very few girls. Very small percentage of class chose that subject, but I wanted that. So there was electronics and communication. So we had to choose between electronics or communication. I chose electronics. That was my choice. Again, with my heart, I like this subject. I don't know what is employment opportunity. I don't know whether I'm going to get job in India. I have no idea. I just like the subject. I just went with it. And I studied. Now, after that first semester in the final year, we have to go the final semester, we have to have a practical experience in a company. Now, generally, students have their contacts with the parents, so they generally get internships anywhere. And in these final internships, they don't care about what subject or what company they get in. If they get in a big company, they will compromise with the type of work that they have to do. Even they have to just make calls. Okay, it's a big company, I will go. People did that. So I was like, okay, I need the company with this, with this my stream. I don't want to compromise. So I was one of the very few students left who didn't get anywhere. And final option was that I have to do the project in the college, and I was okay with that because I didn't want to compromise on what I liked. So then my professor used to put my name in other companies that used to come for interview. I said, sir, I don't want to go there. Please, I'm okay. I remember I did that once. Then one company came in and they gave their profile and they talked that they need technical trainers. Okay, so if we do internship with them, we have the opportunity to train other people in this subject. And I was like, wow, if I become a trainer, imagine what kind of knowledge I would have about the subject. And I was like, I want to go with that. So I just went in. I went for the interview. Interview went so well because I was so much into. Wow, 2 people interviewed me separately. Very nice interview. But again, we were waiting for the answer, waiting for the answer, waiting for the answer. No answer, no answer. It was a small company, a startup. And then we asked someone, and some people told us that they needed a male candidate, and all the candidates that performed well were females. I don't know where, after hearing this, something woke up inside me. Oh, really? And now I wanted this email. See, I am not concerned of what is going on outside. I want you to notice that I'm just thinking what I want. Simple. Okay, I want this. How do I get this? So all of a sudden, I was guided to read a book over the top. And that is really a like kind of book, I think 100 pages or 150 pages. I went to the college library and I read that book in one day. And there was a goal setting exercise that I did that was supposed to be done for 24 hours. I just did sitting there. I just want to know. And first goal was to get this job. Now I'm rejected, but I want this job. From inside it says you want this job. And what do I do? So what can I do? Next question was, so just write to them. Whatever they did was not right. Yeah, they are not supposed to make such distinctions in 21st century. So I thought, okay, I will write them a letter. Then I found an email address from somewhere from their website, and I wrote them an email. And that email that came out, I don't know who wrote that. It wasn't me. It wasn't a fresh graduate writing that email. The command, the kind of, again, what I wrote in the email was coming like I naturally just knew it. That you can't do this, it's 21st century, you have no idea what qualities female candidates can demonstrate and they can be such an amazing employees. How did I know that? I don't know. And I wrote that email. I received the reply that there is some mistake and we recruit only on merit basis. And I said, thank you very much, but sorry for the trouble. And I ended the conversation there itself. Then there came a company who invited us for just students who were left for again an interview. So there was a written test and interview for the project internship. So we had to go there. It was in Baroda. I don't know, before that interview, something told me that read the C programming book. So again, I went to library. I don't know, I just revised. That was a first year subject. I revised the complete book very quickly, very nicely in one day. And the written test, I performed so well. They asked everything from that. And the guys with me, they were like, oh, Nazia, we didn't know you knew so much about programming. And you were so intelligent. We did not know that you will get so much nice marks. I said, even I didn't know. Then, so there were 5 people selected. And then since I was the only female, and 4 others were male, so I was given the choice which project to do. And 4 others were given the other project. So I was given privilege over there, being a female. So I started doing internship with that company. Now I was having lunch with the ladies who work there. And one fine day during the lunchtime, one of the ladies came to me after the lunchtime. One of the ladies came to me and she told me, Nazia, did you write any such email in any company? I was like, this, Zameen Phancha mein dar chup chup. I felt like hiding somewhere. Because I didn't want anyone to know that I wrote such an email to anyone. I was like, yeah, I have written them. How did you know? And then she's like, the person who interviewed was my husband. And the other person that interviewed has resigned. And can you come for dinner tonight at home? Let's talk about it. So he wants to talk to you. So I went, and then he explained it to me that this company is a startup and it won't pay well, right? It will pay very less. So you decide. If you're ready, we'll call you for a formal interview. You see the company, you decide for yourself, but this is the thing, we will not pay well. So after meeting them, I called my mother. Mama, this has happened. My mother is like, you are in the learning phase, not earning phase. Decide if both the companies, the company that you are doing internship with and the company that you want to go. See, this is my field. That was my field. This was a little bit away from my field, but that was really my interest because it was about training, right? So it was about knowledge that I would get. So I just wanted that job. I loved the profile. And she told me both of them offered the same package. Then which one would you choose? You make decision based on that. Naturally, I chose that company. I just wanted their profile. And was that easy for me to go in that company? During the lunchtime, people used to talk, वो मेल वाली लड़की है ना उसको भेजो वो कस्टमर के पास वो मेल वाली लड़की है ना उसको my email everybody had read. It was just 25 to 30 people working in that company. And 1 year after I joined, I found that email, the IT person showed me that email was copied and pasted in one of the folders in a text file. People used to save it and it was read because it wasn't me who wrote that email. It was that inner me. When I was working in the company, one day they were discussing, ये इतनी बकवास product है, कहाँ से बना क्या है, customer वापस दे रहे. And I was like, isn't it how the product is developed? The product is developed, it goes in the market, it receives feedback, you improvise the product, that's how it's done. Isn't it how it's done? How did I know? I don't know. I have no idea. What did I know that I knew? So I want to emphasize that this was my inner knowing. That was always at work, whether I knew it or not, whether I was aware about it or not. And I got success. I gave it no words. Now, as I was getting success, my ego was also growing because I was receiving a lot of power, lot of respect. At the same time, there was a lot of fear and insecurity also brought into me because there were people who didn't like me also, right? So they tried to make me fearful, insecure. It's corporate world, that's how it is. And I was learning my lessons in fear, in insecurity, how to deal. But I was very successful. I was very, very successful. I was very much respected. Even in my community, wherever I went, I used to get senior positions. In my family, my cousins were told that look at Nazia, what she's doing, you become like her. So that is, so where my ego will go? Of course, it will just grow. And there was a lot of frustration and anger also. Because you get everything. When you grow, you get everything. Many stones are thrown at you from all directions. And then there came a time when my parents told me you have to get married. I was like, oh my God. I wanted to get married, of course. I also wanted a partner, but I don't know. It was not really working out for me because an egoistic person like me, how can we just, thank you, Vikasi. How can, we get, how can we just, get married to anyone? So I told my mother, Mama, you promise me, even if there is nothing wrong with the person or the profile, and if I say I just don't feel like marry, you will not force me. And my mother said, yes, I promise. I will never force you to go in any relationship that you are not willing to. And I'm very grateful for that understanding. Because it would be very suffocating for me to have done that. I would have been dead inside. But my ego needed some treatment as I was growing. But then, divine has their plan. they were watching me. And so they sent Reiki to me. So my mother took us to Reiki class, and we learned Reiki 2 levels. Now, more than healing, when we do this kind of classes and energy, we become more connected to our own self, more aligned to our true nature. So that was happening. So when I did these courses, I wasn't very serious about doing healing, but I did well. I was very natural at it, very natural. Even though the subjects in engineering that I loved, I would never have any questions. Okay, class khatam. I never asked any doubts, never. Although I was sitting in the first seat, never. But when I went to these healing classes, I was like so much interested. I would do it very naturally, and I had questions. I was surprised. I had questions. Then we learned pranic healing. In one of the pranic healing advanced classes, I had one very profound experience. Now, as I was doing this healing, this connection deepened. So now, I will tell that experience also. Now my spiritual self was, coming out, and my ego was also there. It was not letting it out. And there was a very big fight here. So in one of the pranic healing classes, they took us to a meditation. They told us, okay, now you go from one chakra to another chakra to another chakra, right? And then they put us over there, here. Put our attention above the head, and this is your home, real home from where you came. And I felt like I just jumped from my body and I sat there, just like a child in the womb. I went there. I was like a womb, like in the womb in that place. And I didn't want to come back. I remember that experience so well. And then they brought us back, and that class actually changed me a lot. I did become very sincere to healing, but very much aware about that inner voice. And I started studying more about spirituality, about my religion, become very sincere at least about my religious practices, about my teacher, about his teachings. And I started, now this inner knowing came out with a voice. Because all these years, the mind gave something, words, concepts to talk about. So that inner knowing that didn't have any words, no concepts, now came up with words. Now there were words coming. I could hear, I could talk with that inner self. It developed in a way. And I had to, we are supposed to meditate, wake up and meditate in the morning. I used to keep alarm. And when I didn't wake up, I used to tell, oh, you did, just waking up in the morning, you did wake me up today as well. Huh. Every day morning. This was my conversation with my teacher. Why today you didn't do this? So I had this conversation unknowingly started, I don't know when. But again, there were times when I was very frustrated. I just feel like I just go to some ashram and, I just don't want all these things. I should, just do something, but not, I don't want to do this job and, I don't, this is very difficult for me to do. I don't know what I will do in ashram. I had never visited ashram in my life before. In our religion, we are taught to balance your material and spiritual life. They go in parallel. They are just same. You cannot separate. We are not supposed to renounce one for the other. Very strict teachings we have. So ashram, nobody will even take me there. So forget it, But I felt that longing. I want to go to an ashram and do something. But nothing would happen. But I still continued. My friends I'm very grateful for my friends who came and asked me for healing. Because whenever we do healing, we connect with that invisible part of us. We get that opportunity to connect deeper, and that real nature gets the opportunity to shine out. So that's how it was. And then I met a person who I felt would give me the freedom to do. This is myself wanted the freedom of expression. Yeah, everybody was telling me, "Tujhe kaisa ladka chahiye?" And things there were heartbreaks. Yeah, there were heartbreaks. I loved someone, फिर वो नहीं हुआ. It's normal part of life. And then ये लोग बोलते इससे शादी कर ले. No. And things were not really very well, going on very well. Then I met this person who I thought, I realized would give me the freedom to do what I want, to understand and let me do what I want. So I said yes to him, and that he has kept till date. So we are almost 10 years, and I still have the freedom to do what I want, regardless of whether he believes in it or not. My husband right now is does not believe in healing, does not even take interest in what I'm doing, but he lets me do. He just lets me do what I want to do, and he's a very played a very important role in bringing my inner self out. I'm very grateful for whatever he has done. So I will end with last experience. What happened? So I met this person. I said yes. And my mother and everybody, yeah, finally she said yes. चलो जल्दी इसकी सगाई करो, जल्दी इसकी शादी करो, जल्दी करो, नहीं तो ये ना बोल देंगे. And that's what happened. After 1 month, I said, ये तो सही नहीं लग रहा. I don't want to continue. And I told them, I can't continue with this relationship. I told my mother, I can't continue. 1 month after engagement. And my mother then called us together, and she told us that, we can't declare this, that you guys are no longer together in our family because of our family issues. So I can make this announcement to our family after 6 months. So you have 6 months to decide. After 6 months, we are going to ask you again whether you guys want to be together or not. If you again say we don't want to be together, we will do a proper announcement and we will call this engagement off. But during the 6 months, she told my husband, who was my fiance at that time, that if you find some suitable partner for you can go ahead because of what she has said. And we were like, okay. But then I don't know, suddenly something happened, and my fiance started calling me, please, can we be together? And, I was like, what do I do with this? I don't understand. I was very much confused. Now this was the time, very difficult time for me. And why I was feeling like this, I don't know. I really loved that person. And when it breakup was painful for me, although it was my decision, very quick decision, it was painful. It was hurting me from inside, very painful. I told him that, after this, you haven't, I don't think so I can go in any other relationship as well. Forget about being with you. Okay, it was very painful for me. But still, people kept on insisting. And the thing is, with marriage, it comes with the looks. My husband is very tall, taller than me, and fair, really very good looking. So there are people like, अच्छा तुझे इससे अच्छा लड़का कहाँ से मिलेगा? Think about it, हम तो ये सोचते ही नहीं ना, हम तो जो अच्छा लगता है वही करते हैं. So forget about what others will think. Why would I think about it? But I was still going. I was not feeling right. Something was going on wrong. And then I found I Ching application from somewhere. I Ching would give guidance on what to do. So he told me, you have to become passive. Now, I was a very active person, like very successful, had a hold, say in my family, in my company. Now, with the top management now, okay, top management, sitting with the owner, okay, nobody else. And then community, I'm having a good say. So, I was very active, but I had to learn to become passive. It's very difficult for me, very difficult. And they were telling me, I used to tell me, you have to learn to become passive, and I don't know what to do. I remember one day, I went in our prayer hall and something was going on outside, and I was just closing my eyes. Please help me, please help me. I was telling my teacher, my inner voice, my teacher, that please guide me. What is going on with me? And why I'm in so much pain, frustration, anger? What is going on with me? Very much. All the negative feelings were there. And the voice spoke to me so distinctly that day. It asked me, so I'm giving you a choice. Do you want me or your happiness? That was the choice given to me. And I know that was true voice because it has been with me for so long. And I said, there is no happiness without you. Wherever I go, I want you. And so it says, just go with the flow. Surrender. And that was so difficult. I was broken. I was dead. It's completely, I was dying from inside. All my identity, all my ego, all my successes were just breaking down, shattering, one after the other, one after. Painful, 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 really, really, really painful. And I will stop here with a question. My inner knowing knew everything, guided me every moment. Did I listen to it every time? No. Was I always successful and happy when I listened to it? No. Did it give me pain every time when I listened to it? No. But it always brought me closer to my soul's purpose. Why am I here? That purpose, maybe we will do it in the next talk, that how, this was turning point in my life, that how after this decision and after this breakdown, how my purpose was revealed to me. So I'm very grateful. Thank you everyone for listening. And I will hand it over back to God, sir. Please forgive me if there is anything, words or concepts that I've used that might have made you uncomfortable. Please forgive me for that. And thank you, God, sir. Over to you. You're muted.
No, not at all, Nazia. It has been such a pleasure to listen to you, and with such honesty, that is brutal honesty. It requires a lot of courage to speak so plainly and so openly about one's life. But that is a courage which comes through a spiritual upbringing. And it's a very important thing. Most of the time when inner knowing tells us something and we are caught up in the outer world, and we don't listen to it. And in your case, it told you that you make a choice. You want me or else. And you made that choice. So that is really great. I am sure a lot of people like to give you a feedback, but we'll just get into this healing session and then we'll get back to you. Thank you so much. And we'll have to thank Yasmin also, because it was just my idea that I came up with this thought that to introduce Nazia, to let us know what she is. Who can be a better person than Yasmin, who has brought her into this world. So thank you very much, Yasmin. We are so grateful to you. Thank you. So it is time to meditate. Just close your eyes. Become aware of your body. especially your spine, and feel that the spine is growing upwards towards the ceiling and you are getting taller. Become aware of your breathing. Without interfering with the breath. Just watch how the breath comes in and how it goes out. Pay attention to the physical aspect of the breath. See how the breath is behaving with your lungs, your chest, your rib cage, your abdomen, how the navel moves out a little as the breath comes in, and it falls back into place as the breath moves out. Feel the pressure with the incoming breath builds on the diaphragm, and how you can feel the movement in the lowermost part of the abdomen, near the genitals, as if the breath is moving there. Just being aware of the breath brings about a qualitative change in the breath. It becomes soft, deep, and rhythmic. You can just focus on the movement of the breath in the nasal passage. And you will notice that the breath is becoming very, very slow. And as this slowing down happens, the number of thoughts striking the mind reduces considerably. You might feel some pressure building up in the forehead area, or elsewhere in the body. This is a signal that the breath is no longer a physical presence in your body. It is showing the prana which is being released by the breath in the body. So let your eyes look upwards into the forehead. And from this state, let us enter into sound healing for a little while. You are completely focused on the inside, and as you become familiar with the movement of prana within, it is time to realize harmony with nature. So listen to this frequency of nature, which brings about a harmony between your senses, your body, and your mind, and gives you the perfect grounding that you need. The time of eclipse is one such time where whatever little we do by way of a spiritual practice, it gets magnified. We have listened to Nazia and her direct experience of how the inner voice brings about growth. And no matter what the challenge on the outside, things work out because the inner voice takes a soul closer to the soul journey plan. We have come into this world with a plan, and the plan is to find our harmony with ourselves, with nature, and everybody else on this planet. So this eclipse time is the best time to make an effort in this regard. Just allow the sound of this frequency to be absorbed by every cell of your body. It brings you in a state of perfect rest. Where deeper healing becomes possible. It requires courage to move on the spiritual path. And we all know that energy is needed for every action to be performed, or for rising in awareness. So let's listen to this frequency of prana, which creates a pranic energy and allows it to move more easily within the body. So when the prana is active, our senses are sharpened, the mind is stronger, clearer too. Normally in this world, when the mind is strong, our energies are distracted. But when the prana is strong, the mind gets focused. The senses get refined. And distractions stop. So feed this frequency of prana to your senses, to your body, and to your mind. So that you are infused with more power, more energy, more courage and determination to take the right decisions and to follow the path. Now it is time to have the ability to use prana in the right fashion. Life's challenges seem difficult because we do not have the right understanding. And that understanding gets refined by love, So first thing is that we must love ourselves. We must love others. And we have the right understanding that all challenges that surface are for our own upliftment. When we decided to incarnate on this planet, we chose these challenges. So it's only with an attitude of love that we can have the courage and the energy both to proceed on the path. So listen to this frequency of unconditional love. Allow this frequency to make changes in your understanding. It is the kind of frequency that makes software changes within you. Your mind is the hardware, but it needs to change or function in a particular manner. And the frequency of unconditional love is the best software that you can offer to this hardware. So give this frequency to yourself. It will give you the understanding to look at your own potential rather than your challenges. Each human being is a unique creation of the divine and has tremendous potential. And love is the energy that allows that potential to come out in free flow. The inner voice, when it spoke to Nazia, it says, be in the flow. That is, don't resist. Surrender. When we have love in the heart, it becomes possible to get into the flow. And learn from everything that comes up. Maybe it is a personal challenge. Maybe it is some deficiency in a skill. Maybe it's a challenging relationship. Maybe it is a challenge thrown up by parental conditioning, our own blind spots, our subconscious equations. When we offer love, the barriers start melting down. Harmony is restored easily. So be in the state of love for some time. For healing at the deepest level, here is the frequency of DNA healing. The world is passing through challenging times. So listen to this frequency of Jupiter, which can expand one's capacity to be successful and to earn. And here is the expansion frequency of Jupiter that allows you to grow into your chosen profession or business or activity, so that you become more successful. The purpose of a spiritual life is to experience abundance, the inner expansion where everyone and everything is included. So here is the frequency for abundance and prosperity. Now just enjoy some very soothing frequencies which are related to karma healing. Now rest in the frequency of Om. As the sounds fade, just be with your breath and your body. Notice how the senses have become inward looking. How each cell of the body is absorbing the sound and has experienced some transformation. See how the mind has also turned inwards, and there are very few thoughts. Just witness these thoughts, if there are any. If there are no thoughts, or there are very few thoughts, just become aware of the gap between two thoughts and rest in the gap. Simultaneously try to become aware of two or more things at one time. For example, just figure out how your heart is beating. If you pay attention, you can become aware of that. Try to watch your breath at the same time. While becoming aware of the heartbeat, else try to become aware of the outer environment where you are seated. The presence of other people in the house, any activities happening there, or any sounds that you listen from outside, indicative of something happening. So let your awareness expand and include everything. The heartbeat, the flow of blood in your veins, all the chemical reactions happening in the body, the breath, and everything else happening around you. There is no witness, there is nothing, just pure awareness remains. You are not a separate entity. You are awareness, and this whole existence is nothing but awareness. Rest in this state for some time. Gently bring your awareness to your body. Mentally take notice of various limbs. See where your hands are placed or where your feet are placed. How your body is holding and supporting itself. Take a few deep breaths. So that the awareness of bodies is strengthened. And when you are ready, you may want to bring your palms together, rub them against each other. Cover your eyes with your palms and let the energy from the palms travel to the body or vice versa. Keep breathing, and when you feel that energy has been equalized, gently caress your face, offering your deepest love to yourself. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. So as we tried to sort of do the meditation part or the sound healing part. It was an encroachment on Nazia's talk, which was very interesting, but we wanted to make use of this opportunity of the eclipse time to do something. So here we are. If you have any feedback, you want to ask Nazia any questions or share how you feel about her talk, please unmute yourself, and she is all yours. So, Mr. Mulki, anybody wants to say something? Mr. Mulki, you want to say something?
No.
You have unmuted yourself. Hemaji, would you like to give some feedback to Nazia? Umaji, you have to speak. Vikas, go ahead.
Nazia, a couple of questions. Very basic questions.
अभी करना
Can you
है
hear me? Can you hear me, Nazia? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So, whether you feel your connect with the animals and plants?
Yes, I read your question. As a child, yes, I was very much connected to animals. I could feel like, I remember, I was very empathetic towards animals and plants. But as I grew during my teenage years, it was very difficult to connect.
Okay.
Not
So,
always.
next question. Next question, do you want to answer or you want to answer it on chat?
Did you ever had 8 hours? So yeah, I would say sleep was like my best thing in life. Sleep was my refuge, and sleep was something that I loved. So I used to sometimes sleep a lot. Even during I would sleep more during exams.
So, would you wake up in the midnight around 2 to 4 o'clock?
No, never.
Not at all.
Sleep was my very good best friend. I loved. But now it's different. It's a different story. So when you say waking up in the middle, now it's there.
Now it's there, right?
It wasn't there. Yeah, no.
Okay. Hemaji, I'm 100% right. This is confirmed.
Okay. I will talk to Nazia. I will talk to Nazia later.
Sure. If my help required, then let me know.
Yes, surely. Thank you, Vikasji. Anyone else would like to come in?
Nitika says purely divine. Thank you so much for this beautiful gift. Nazia and Gaur sir, grateful that we got this blessing during the eclipse. Nenu says the best Diwali gift. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Aditi, please.
Yes, Aditi.
Yeah, Nazia, it was really wonderful, and I'm eagerly waiting for the next one because there are many resemblances I could see, but I'm not keen to. I will talk to you personally, and it's really amazing. I loved the session. Thank you so much, and thanks to Gaur sir also. Meditation was divine. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Meditation was so amazing. I really didn't want to come out of it.
Yeah, really, it was amazing. Even when sir instructed to come out, open your eyes, I was like, no, not now, like that.
Same thing. It's ending so soon.
So, anybody else?
Yeah, Nadia, your lecture was great one. At places I realized that everybody feels that feeling, but most probably a person like me, he doesn't listen. He listens to the outer word more. And of course, today's session for this healing was great. And as जो पहले बात कर रही थी, मैं नाम भूल गया उनका. She said, I was not feeling like opening my eyes. एक तो काफी देर बाद मैं आ पाया हूँ, बीच में मैं बहुत किडनी की वजह से इधर उधर डॉक्टर के बीच में और ब्ला 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 मतलब कुछ समझ में नहीं आता क्या किया जाए. तो लेकिन your lecture was very good.
Abhi, I think the best is yet to come.
Yes, the
The
transformation.
more suspenseful part is yet to come.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I am the culprit because I made her
No,
cut
no, no.
short.
This is the
नहीं,
best.
it's all right. It's all right. सबसे बड़ी इम्पोर्टेंट चीज ये है कि आज सूर्य ग्रहण है, तो उस बीच में जो हम लोगों ने किया, वो कहते तो ये है कि इफ यू डू समथिंग बिटवीन दिस पीरियड, मतलब 4:42 to 5:30 जो भी था, you get a lot of siddhis and all this whatnot. I don't know much about it. I've just read about it. So it's good that we did this. We'll listen, Nazia. Nazia is there.
I'm here only, anytime available.
Okay.
Nitika, you want to share something?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to both of you. And yeah, we are always in line to learn more from you and Nazia. This was very enlightening and a very big thank you to both of you.
Thank you.
Eternally grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to say about this inner knowing that I experienced just today. When we talk about it, all of a sudden today, my office colleague just came into me and she is like, sometimes I hear some voice coming from me and telling me everything will be okay. Is it something wrong with me? And I said, this is true. Believe the voice and go with the voice. And she's like, I can't tell this to anyone. And I can't share this, that something is just telling me everything will be all right. So we all have this. And Tuesday gatherings is such a comfortable, safe platform that God Sir and Himaji has created. We are blessed to have this group where we can share our experiences. So we cannot be grateful enough for what we have received here. I especially, I wouldn't even share. I was like this colleague of mine that I would never tell anyone that I'm feeling this or anything. And now look at me, I'm sharing my things with you all. So
This is like a powerful boost of energy that we get hearing such stuff from you and God, sir. I mean, this is like you get the assurance that you're in the right direction. All of us have this hidden voice deep inside, but it gets lost or we keep shunning it down.
yes.
So that's it. Thank you.
Thank
Gratitude. Thank you.
Umaji, your voice is not there, Umaji.
You have to take out your earphone.
Can we fast forward to 1st November?
We can have a special session.
She's left us at such a wonderful point that, we are just waiting. And 1st November looks too far away. Thank you, Nazia. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
But sir, since Umaji has raised up 1st November, we are already booked on 1st of November. So we have to have Nazia maybe on some Sunday or something like that. Because we can't give much gap here.
Okay, I understand that. So we'll do a special session for Nazia. वैसे उमा जी एक उर्दू में शेर है कि जो मजा इंतजार में है वो वसले यार में नहीं. It may be, but we will have Hema has a point that we should not keep too much of a gap, so we will have a special session one of these days, and we will check up from you whether it should not coincide with any of your sessions.
Yes.
And Nazia spoke about inner knowing, and there is always this voice that keeps telling certain things, but we don't listen to it most of the time. And how I discovered Nazia is a matter of the inner voice, because we didn't know each other at all. मैं तो इधर बम्बई में और ये कतर में, लेकिन किधर लैला अहमद के हीलिंग ग्रुप में वी वर टुगेदर और हमने ट्यूसडे गैदरिंग शुरू किया. तो having started Tuesday gatherings, I was on the lookout for people. कि कौन लोग आ सकते हैं Tuesday gathering? God alone knows why. Whenever that particular WhatsApp group will open, my attention would go to Nazia's name. I initially dismissed it. How do you connect with somebody whom you just don't know? But it persisted. So over a period of time, I have just learned to trust that. So I opened her DP, saw her photograph. Oh my God, she's a young girl. But then because this voice was very predominant or prominent, I just sent her a WhatsApp message that we have this Tuesday gatherings. We would love to have you here with us. If you feel like you can connect. And lo and behold, on the next program, she was there. So this is how we just got connected. But this is how it works. The soul world is looking for connections. The soul world is bringing souls of the same soul family together. So it doesn't matter whether we have not known one another in this lifetime. And there are many people who are here on this group. We don't know them just because they come to this Tuesday gatherings or any other program. That's how we know them. We do not know what they do. We do not know what their family life is, what kind of work they are doing, or what are their challenges in life. But there is something that binds us. It is a soul family that brings us together. And that inner voice comes in very clearly when we are connected on the inside. So Nazia is very lucky. She must be a very old soul and a very wise soul that she, right from her birth, she showed these traits of great wisdom and connectedness. So we are very grateful to have you, Nazia, with us. Thank you so much. And thank you, Umaji. You have got a wonderful student.
And I don't know if she is the student or I am the student.
I think we are all here to learn from each other. Each one is a teacher.
Yeah, right.
And each one is a student because we are all learning. One of the Swamis had told me in Ganeshpuri some 30 years ago, he said, remember one statement and repeat it to yourself always. And he said, I am in training. So we are all in training. But we are here to learn from one another. So
We are a part of a big jigsaw puzzle. One piece is someone with someone else, one piece is with someone else. And only with sharing we will get it.
that is true, Hema.
Yes.
That is true. See how this group came into existence.
Yeah.
God planted this idea in your mind that let us have a group. And then it happened, it started happening. So
And you hear stories and people say Tuesday gatherings मेरे लिए ही बना था. You know, everybody says this thing. Tuesday gathering happened only because of me. People have so many things to say.
So thank you. I think we have
Yes, sir.
done a good job of utilizing the time for the eclipse to listen to Nazia.
बाबू भाई को पता होगा मगर मैं आई वॉज एक्चुअली पासिंग थ्रू एरा ऑफ डेथ जब मैं कानपुर में एडमिटेड था फॉर 15-20 days and then again 25 days, almost 1.5 months. Then I became member. उसी बीच हमारी बात हुई इनसे. So actually nobody believed that I lived.
And we had connected after maybe 30 years more.
Yeah, maybe more than that.
40 years.
Yeah. कानपुर में हम लोग मिले थे एक दूसरे से और कानपुर के बाद after 68 or 70 then we talked almost after 40 years. So that was something very interesting.
So soul family, souls are brought together for some reason. कोई ना कोई बहाना बन जाता है.
Right.
Basically. So, shall we just do the prayer and end?
जी sir.
So, we'll do a Shanti part. Whatever energies have been created here, let these energies go out in the world and transform people and heal them. The world is in dire need of healing. So let us pray. Om Sarvesham Swastir Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you everyone. And thank you Nazia once again for such a wonderful sharing. So we'll think of having another session, a special session for Nazia, and we'll meet then. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Rosina is saying, please can you have the session London time? Thank you for the sound meditation. It is amazing. I just love it. Thank you, Rosina. I will speak to you later. But I don't have your number. I think I will check up from Nazia. Bye-bye.